So hi all, welcome to this video lecture. In this video we will see what is the difference between HASONEVALUE, HASONFILTER, ISFILTERED and ISCROSSFILTERED function. All these functions, they are Boolean data type functions. So let us see their use cases. They are basically used in Power BI or DAX calculation to control the filter context and logic. So let us go ahead and look at the HASONEVALUE. It returns true if there is only one value present in the column under the current filter context. Syntax is HASONEVALUE with the column name. Use case, it is useful for validating slicer selections or avoiding aggregation errors. So this is the general syntax which we will be using in our Power BI. This is the HASONEFILTER. It returns true if a column has been filtered down to a single value. Okay, so HASONEFILTER, it is having this syntax which is, it also accepts the column name. HASONEFILTER checks for a single filter condition and HASONEVALUE checks for a single resulting value. Okay, that is the difference. So if you look at the difference between HASONEVALUE and HASONEFILTER, right, HASONEFILTER, it only is applicable for one single filter. Okay, for example, if there is a slicer and on that slicer you are applying filter, so HASONEFILTER will only work on that particular slicer, but HASONEVALUE, it can work on multiple slicers. Okay, it can it can indirectly filter if it can indirectly filter as long as the value that comes out in the output is 1. No matter whether if it is directly filtered or indirectly filtered, this HASONEVALUE will always return true. Okay, but HASONEFILTER, it will only give true if the value that is coming is 1 and if it is directly filtered. Both needs to be satisfied. Then we have ISFILTERED. ISFILTERED returns true if the column is being filtered directly. Okay, so the difference between HASONEFILTER and ISFILTERED is that HASONEFILTER will only return true if there is only one filter condition applied. ISFILTERED will return true if there are multiple filter conditions applied, be it many. Okay, ISCROSSFILTERED, it returns true if the column is filtered due to a relationship. Okay, so it can be direct filter or it can also be indirect filter. Okay, but ISFILTERED will only return true for direct filtering as only. Okay, it will not return true for indirect filtering, but ISCROSSFILTERED, it will return true for indirect as well as direct filtering. Okay, so that is what is there in the summary table. If you just look at HASONEVALUE, single value in result, any filter, only one value exists. Okay, you can go through this particular PPT. Okay, I have put this PPT link in the description. You can go ahead and check it in my GitHub repository. I have downloaded and I have uploaded all these files over there. Okay, so let us go to the Power BI. Okay, and let us see. So for this particular demonstration, I have two slicers, one on the department and one on the name. Okay, and we will be dealing with this table underscore 2. Okay, table underscore 2 is a pretty simple table. If I go to the table view, okay, you see that it only has 6 rows. Okay, in which the name, department and total sales is mentioned. Okay, and this entire table I have visualized here in the form of table. So we have two slices, name and department, and now we want to see the difference between all the 4 functions. Okay, so let us create a measure. Okay, and in this measure, let us say measure has one value, and I will say if my has one value, okay, for the name, table to name, comma, is true, then we will represent this as filtered, else as not filtered. Okay, okay, so let me create a card, and in this card I will be placing this measure. Okay, let me create all the 4 measures. Okay, let me create the measure for has one filter. So whatever logic I have written for has one value, I will copy this and I will paste it here. Okay, so this one will be has one filter. Now I will create one more measure, and the name of this measure will be measure is filtered. Okay, and this one will be if is filter. And let me create one more filter. This will be measure is cross filtered. Okay, and this one will be if is cross filtered. Okay, now that I have got all these 4 measures ready, okay, let me create 4 cards here. So this card will have my measure has one filter. Okay, let me create one more card. This one will have measure is cross filter, and let me create one more card. This one will be measure is filtered. Okay, so measure has one value and measure is cross filtered, the one which is in the same column, right? Their behavior is almost the same, and measure has one filter and measure is filtered behavior is the same. Okay, so measure has one filter and measure is filter, they work only on direct filters. Okay, so if you look at the formula, right, if you look at the formula that I have given, the direct filter is applied on the name column of this table, right? So if you look at this particular slicer, this is the name, name slicer. Okay, so if I go ahead and if I do any kind of filtering on the name column, right, this not filtered, this measure has one filter, and this is filter, both will return true. Okay, so if let's say if I go ahead and if I select this, only one, right, see all of them, they are showing filtered, right? The reason why has one value and is cross filtered, they are showing filtered, because they work both on direct filter as well as indirect filters. But measure has one filter and is filtered, they only work on direct filters. So directly I have applied this filter on this one, so this has given me true value. But let's say if I go ahead and if I select, let's say digital. Okay, let's say if I go ahead and select digital. Okay, you see measure is cross filtered, right? This has showed this has given me filtered result, right? But measure has one value has not given me filtered result. The reason why it has not given me filtered result, because this filtering has one value has been applied on the name filter, right? And for one particular department, if you just see, there are more than one names that are present for this particular department. Okay, that is the reason why this has not given me filtered. Measure has one value will only return true, that is, it will only return filtered value if and only if there is one value that is being returned for the particular value that you are filtering. So because I am filtering on the basis of digital, which is an indirect filter, so it will return me, it has returned me 3 different values. That's why it is not filtered, it has not returned true result. But is cross filtered, it no matter how many result you are having, it doesn't matter, as long as you have applied any filter, whether be it direct or indirect, it will return you the true value, that is filtered value. Okay, but let's say that I do not choose digital, let's say I choose medical. Okay, You see, now that I have selected medical, for medical only one person is there, right, whose department is medical, so only one value I am getting. That's why it is now showing me filtered for has one value and is cross filtered function. Both are returning true in this case. But if you look at has one filter and measure is filtered, they both are returning false. Why? Because it's an indirect filter. Okay, it's an indirect filter. That's why. Now if I go ahead and if I choose the direct filter, right, I have only chosen one value in the filter, in the direct filter, that is name. So definitely since measure has one value and measure is cross filtered, both works on direct filters and indirect filters, so this will return true, right? But if you look at and both of them, and measure has one filter and is filtered, they both have also returned true because I have only filtered on one name. But let's say I filter on more than one name. See what will happen. Measure has one value will return false because it has given me two different values, right? And measure has one filter has returned me false because it only will return true if there is only one value that is present in this filter. If you have filtered on only one value, then only it will return true. But this measure is filtered, it has returned true. Okay, because one, it is a direct filter, plus no matter how many filters you have applied, one or many, doesn't matter, it will always return true as long as the filter is direct. Okay, so key point that you need to remember is for measure is filter and is cross filtered, right? No matter how many filters you apply, one or many, it will return true for all the cases. Only difference is that measure is filtered is only going to work for direct filters, measure is cross filter is going to work for direct as well as indirect filters. And exactly the same behavior is there with not filter with your has one value and has one filter. Only difference being is that it will only return true if there is one value present. If there are multiple values present, then it will return false. So for these two, it is for has one filter, it is the condition for is filtered, and condition with and condition, it is that the value that you are filtering, it has to be one. Only one value you can filter, not many, but it has to be with direct filters. And for has one value, it can be on direct filters as well as indirect filters. As long as the value that is coming out is one, it will return true, else it will return false. So both needs to be satisfied for has one value as well as has one filter. Okay, so that was the difference between all the four filters. Now you can also incorporate this into a table. I can show you one use case of using the is filtered, let's say, okay, where I want to only showcase the total sales. Okay, I don't want to showcase the sales coming for from the department perspective. From the department hierarchy, I don't want the sales to be shown. I only want the sales to be shown at the your name level. Okay, so for Ankit it should be 80,000, for Ish it should be 60,000, for Rohit it should be 21, it should be 2 lakh 10,000. So I only need these values to be displayed. I don't want 1,60,000 or 50,000 to be displayed. Okay, at the department level, I don't really want the sales value to be displayed. So how to do that? If I go ahead and create a measure, okay, and in this measure, let's say I create measure total sales, and here I will say calculate the sum of, let's say, total sales. Okay, let me create one more measure, and in this particular measure I will say measure department filter. Okay, and here I will say that if my department is filtered, okay, if the filtering has happened on the basis of department, so this department, okay, if it's filtered department, then it should show me blank. You see, at the table level, this filtering that is happening, 80,000 digitals, 1,60,000, 50,000, this is happening at the department level, and the top one, it is happening at the name level. So if my filtration has happened on the basis of on the department level, then I need to show it as blank, else you show me the total sales value, that is measure total sales. Okay, if I go ahead and if I hit on enter, this one, if I go ahead and if I drag and drop this in the values, okay, you see this is what I get. You see now this value has all gone. See that all these values have gone. Only the value that I need for from the name hierarchy, only I have displayed only those values. Okay, the rest of the values, they have gone. Okay, the sum of the total sales from the department perspective is not visible here. Okay, and so these kind of things you can do with the help of ISFILTERED. You can also do it with the help of your ISCROSSFILTERED also. Okay, there is also one more function which I have not covered. I will cover it in my next video, that is in scope. You can use that one also. Okay, so that's it guys, thank you very much, and if you really like this video, then please don't forget to like, share and subscribe my channel, and please don't forget to press the bell icon for notification. Thank you.